Let's get the obvious thing out of the way. You're a gamer, I'm a gamer, and most of you watching this video are probably gamers. Except for my family members who I had to force to subscribe to my channel.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
Anyways, we love video games, but there are some things in these games that piss every gamer off. So let's talk about that. Uncharted 4 is an amazing game. This game came out back in 2016, and there are games that are coming out today that look like absolute dog shit in front of this. It's beautiful, action-packed, vibrant, colorful. What is happening? What is this? Where is my color? That's right, every time Nate gets hit or his luck runs out, your screen starts losing color. And it is so aggressive, it almost hinders my gameplay. And I have to sit behind a cover to get my color back, only to find a grenade rolling next to me. There are many games that do this. Another game that comes to mind is Infamous The Second Son. A game that literally has neon as your power, and losing color is a thing when you get hit. It works in the context of the game and also makes thematic sense. Your character is made out of neon color, so getting hit means you're losing color. Makes sense, right? I don't remember Nate ever shooting neon out of his body, so what the f*** Naughty Dog? Meanwhile, Call of Duty is like, stop smearing jam on my screen and let me see. There are games that do this better, Titanfall 2, The Last of Us, and Gears of War to name a few. The perfect example of how to do damage feedback right is Dead Space. Not only does the UI blend in with the gameplay like chicken with biryani, but every time you get hit, Isaac grunts in his sexy voice, while you get to see his health deplete on his back. And it even changes color, so you know how badly you need to replenish your health. Now that is how you show a player damage without random bullshit on your screen. Do you have any idea how long I waited to feel like Spider-Man? Marvel's Spider-Man made that happen. I can punch like Spider-Man, I can web goons up like Spider-Man, I can climb walls like Spider-Man, I can swing through New York City like Spider-Man.
Hey, do you want to play as MJ?
No.
How about Miles? Before Spider-Man?
No.
Do you want to play as Aunt May?
Oh god, no! Playing as a side character is a well-known trope in video games. The reason why it infuriates some gamers is because the new character is nerfed to hell. MJ can never do what Spider-Man can, so why bother? Who wants to do this when you can be doing this? Leon S. Kennedy was directly appointed by the President of the USA to save his daughter. The President picked one guy to do all of this. That's how OP Leon is. Leon goes through literal hell carrying weapons in an invisible briefcase which he bought from the coolest vendor in video game history. Surviving only on funny colored herbs. He shoots zombies, he blows up zombies, and even roundhouse kicks zombies. But about 70% into the game, you're asked to play as Ashley. And what can she do? Nothing. She can't do anything. So why? Just why? She's probably the most annoying side character in the history of video games. The same goes for Ratchet & Clank. Even in the most recent game, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, you get these Clank sections that literally give you an option to skip them. They are main story missions, mind you. Even the devs knew how bad these scenarios are. So what game does this better? Well, there are many, but one that comes to my mind and you can instantly agree with is Ellie in The Last of Us Part 1. That is how you subvert a player's expectations. It makes narrative sense. She has a knife, so now stealth kills are easier because you don't have to craft a ship as Joel would. It's kept short, it has a story arc, and it has a boss fight. You even switch back and forth between Joel and Ellie, so it strikes the perfect balance. The gameplay felt so natural that we got a DLC that featured only Ellie as the playable character. And it still feels good. This laid the foundation and all the groundwork for Last of Us Part 2, regardless of how it turned out.
My name is Jeff.
Huh?
Joe, fucking get up!
The same goes with Atreus in God of War Ragnarok. I had a feeling that Atreus would be a playable character at some point, but I did not expect it to be this good. I mean, can anybody possibly top Kratos himself?
No!
But Atreus' gameplay was fun and fresh, and it did not overstay its welcome. But could we live with an Atreus-only God of War game in the vein of Uncharted Lost Legacy or Miles Morales? Only time will tell. But that is a topic for another video. I I enjoy backtracking as much as the next guy. It's commonly used in video games, mostly open world type games. Basically, there is a hub area where you return to at least 2 to 3 times as the story progresses, and you find more ways to open it up with new possibilities. Let's take Sekiro for example. I swear to God, ever since I played Sekiro, every video I make, I always mention Sekiro in that. It's crazy. And some of you are actually pissed at it. I don't know why, it's a good game. You guys made me play it. You know who you are. Anyways, you run around the castle area for most of the game, except for a few other remote locations. The castle area is under war, and it shows every time you revisit it after the main story mission. Compare that to Devil May Cry 4, and you start to realize what kind of a shit show it was. Speaking of which, can I please get a Devil May Cry game that stars only Dante for crying out loud? Don't get me wrong, Nero in DMC4 was fun, but when I get to finally play as Dante, all the locations and bosses are same. What the hell, Capcom? Or how about Far Cry 2? If I'm going to run through the same area 100 times, why would you not include a fast travel mechanic? Or too unrealistic for you, Ubisoft? Yeah, that sure looks real. If you don't want to change the area or include fast travel, why have random encounters that only slow me down? Why have mission structures that force me to go through the same area and repeat all that all over again? Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order also had the same issue with no fast travel. It only got more tedious when you have to go back and forth to a different location. Bottom line, do backtracking only when necessary or get creative. In Marvel Spider-Man, when you find a backpack conveniently webbed to a wall for God knows how long and for how many locations, seriously, did Peter win a backpack sponsor or something? Anyway, it still fills me with joy because what I find inside adds to the lore and character of Peter, with a good bit of aha moments. Because this game does collectibles right. But when Riddler asks me to collect a freaking question mark after using my only 2 working brain cells to solve a puzzle, it does absolutely nothing to reward me. And that pisses me and many other gamers off. Look, I'm not a completionist, and frankly, I don't care about a platinum trophy. But god damn is it annoying to go out on a hunt for something that the game decides only to have nothing come out of it. Why are collectibles a thing in video games in the first place, you may ask? Number 1, they encourage and reward your exploration. And the second one is padding the runtime. When done strictly for this, it gets pretty annoying pretty fast. I platinumed Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima and God of War because half the time I wasn't even trying. I was just so immersed in the world I wanted to learn more about it. Any new trinket I got was just helping me do that. So I was actively looking for these collectibles. Not the God of War Ravens though, those things can go to hell.
Die.
But you know what I haven't platinumed? The Last of Us, Uncharted 4, Assassin's Creed series. Remember collecting treasure in Uncharted games that had little to no meaning? This part especially cracked me up. Nate is short and he barely survived a train wreck on a snow-covered mountain, and the first thing he has to do is go against the path and pick up a random statue? Drake has his priorities wrong. Even in The Last of Us Part 1, I figured each of these Firefly pendants will accumulate into something. Some incoherent backstory, but nothing. What a shame. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is a beautiful game with a rewarding and satisfying combat and an excellent gameplay loop. I mean, look at this. How satisfying is it to completely own a boss, and oh my god, I can't see. What kind of bullshit is that? This has taken more lives than any Soulsborne boss ever could. The true final boss, bad camera. Let me preface this by saying, making a good camera that is player controlled is really difficult to do. Why else do you think the old games used fixed cameras? But oh god, is it infuriating when you lose a battle just because the camera decides you cannot see anymore. And all third-person action games suffer from this. The Devil May Cry series, yes, including 5, Ninja Gaiden, every Souls-like game, older God of War games, etc. This was a standard affair until the geniuses at Capcom decided to invent the third-person over-the-shoulder perspective. This camera method still to this day remains a staple for all third-person games. Even the remakes they did with Resident Evil 2 and 3 took advantage of this, proving how vital it was for the industry. Does this camera work for all type of games? No, of course not, but there are games that are using this very creatively, and the best example is God of War. A melee-focused game with an over-the-shoulder camera that works like witchcraft. Although it's not perfect, it works surprisingly well, even for the blades, which honestly felt pretty badass in themselves. But there is one game that does this wonderfully and at the same time horribly, and that game is Shadow of the Colossus. When you're on your horse riding to murder the next colossi, it feels so cinematic. The camera pans in to show the landscape and character is pushed on the side with a slower raise in the music. It feels fantastic. But then you reach the colossi and camera goes batshit crazy. Horrible zoom-in glitches when climbing the colossus in a tight space makes it impossible to see. I rather stab myself and call it a day. Finding a game that does camera right for a third-person action game is like finding a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So you better cherish it. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, let me know down in the comments what is the video game trope that you hate the most. I would love to read them. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video so YouTube knows that you're enjoying my content. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on my future content. Thank you to all my channel members who support me. Their names are here. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.